because the River Chess is so close to our school.
We visit it with our school and our families too.
We are so lucky to have this habitat so close because it is a very special one.
The River Chess is a chalk stream and there are only around 300 of these in the world.
And 85% of these are in England, and we have 9 here in the Chilterns. Chalk streams are clear, fast flowing,
Fed by underground springs from the aquifer.
have gravel beds,
and are very important to our wildlife, some of which are unique to our chalk streams.
and the River Chess is very important to us.
I love the River Chess because I walk my dog along its banks.
I love the River Chess because we come here to paddle in play ranges.
I love the River Chess because we look after the brown trout from the egg stage.
And then release them into the river when they are par.
But the River Chess is under stress and is in danger.
And humans are having a real impact on the chess.
But what are these impacts and how can we help?
One of these things is litter.
Litter pollutes the banks and even the river itself.
In fact, so much plastic has made its way into the river, evidence of microplastics can be found.
Case caddis fly larva makes its case from tiny grains from the riverbed.
But experts have found tiny grains of plastic in the case the larvae make.
Who knows what damage this will cause?
How can we help?
Make sure you pick up your own litter and take it home with you.
You can even pick up litter left by others if it's safe to do so.
The river is polluted in other ways too.
Further up the river is the Chesham sewage treatment work.
This is where the wastewater is clean for us to use again.
But when it rains heavily, they are allowed to release sewage water into the River Chess.
This wastewater flows downstream towards us in Mickmansworth.
This year there has been 2,679 hours of sewage discharge into the Chess. This affects the level of oxygen in the River Chess and kills wildlife.
This means that us and our dogs cannot enjoy the river because it is really dirty and could make us seriously ill.
But what can we do to help? Write to your MP to put pressure on the government to make changes.
There is also a problem called runoff.
This is when chemicals that farmers have used in their fields run into the river. It pollutes the river and kills the wildlife and plants.
Chiltern Chalk Streams Project are working with farmers in the Chess Valley to stop this from happening.
Runoff also occurs when the river floods into nearby roads.
When the flood recedes, the water flows back into the river, taking the pollutant on the road with it. Flooding is a real problem for the Chess. Climate change is changing our weather, and we are experiencing some more freak weather events. It has also flooded the nursery many of us attended before coming to this school. It had to close for a few weeks and the cleanup cost lots of money.
The Chess has flooded recently, affecting some of our houses, so we have to put sandbags out.
To help stop flooding, we can all take little steps to combat climate change.
We can turn off lights.
And recycle our rubbish.
It might seem a bit strange to talk about drought straight after flooding, but the River Chess has also been at risk from a lack of water. At a chalk stream, it is fed by the springs from the aquifer underground.
What's an aquifer? An aquifer is an area of porous rock which is saturated by water which runs onto the ground.
Unfortunately, water companies take water from the aquifer for us humans to use, meaning there is less for the river. In some places, chalk streams have dried up completely.
This would have terrible consequences for the wildlife.
But how can we help?
We can turn taps off when they're not needed.
We can water plants with rainwater.
The Chess is also affected by invasive species which humans have introduced and which affect the native plants and wildlife. One of these is the American signal crayfish.
It was introduced by the restaurant trade years ago and now has been released into the wild.
It is bigger and more aggressive than the native white-clawed crayfish, and it carries a fungus which is deadly to the native species.
The American signal crayfish burrows into banks, which can then collapse into the river.
Banks are also affected by plants. Himalayan balsam looks very pretty, but it dominates all other plant life.
It spreads very quickly because its seed pods explode and go everywhere and then regrow.
When it dies back in winter, the banks are bare and they're at risk of erosion.
Is there anything we can do to help?
We can look out for invasive species and report them to the Chilterns Chalk Streams project if we see them.
Hopefully we have shown you what an important habitat the river chess is and why it's important to save it.
We have given you some ideas of what you could do, but perhaps you could get more involved. Join a local group. How about the River Chess Association?
Visit the Chilterns Chalk Streams project to find out more and even find out how to be a volunteer.